Hi, welcome to PCMag Live. I'm Jill Duffy here with Sasha Segan today. We're going to talk about three of the top biggest stories in the technology world. We're going to take a look at one cool thing that's come into our lab and answer a reader question. So one of the big stories today is that Sony's had a couple of layoffs, and it sounds like a reorg is coming. Sasha, what's going on there?
Well, I mean, the reorg is happening. Sony laid off 5,000 people. And they've announced plans to sell their Vio PC business to a Japanese investment firm and to spin off their TV division into a wholly owned subsidiary. So what the company is saying is that they want to focus much more on mobile entertainment, which seems kind of risky from Sony's perspective because we're looking at a company that is only 9th or 10th in the world when it comes to mobile phone market share. So if they're really focusing a lot more on smartphones and tablets, they have a long way to go before they can compete with Samsung. And
these layoffs were primarily in Japan, but also around the world?
Yeah, Sony is a global company, but primarily based in Japan. So they laid off about 3,500 people in Japan, 1,500 people in the rest of the world. I mean, this is just a small fraction of the, tens of thousands of people employed by Sony. But the bigger question here is, it's yet another company trying to orient itself to the post-PC world and to say, okay, we were very strong during the PC era, but now that PCs have flatlined and are probably going to start slumping in favor of people using tablets as their primary computers, what's the game plan?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of companies lately sort of trying to figure out what is going to be their niche. I think for a while everybody was trying to do a lot of everything, and there's more of a push now to figure out what are you good at, what are your strengths, and how do you focus on that?
Right, and Sony's strength and weakness has always been its strength in entertainment. The idea that if Sony can ever get together and act as one Sony, as opposed to a bunch of infighting fiefdoms where the record company people keep trying to shiv the technology people, then they might have some success there.
Yeah. So another company that's kind of in the news right now, also maybe looking to change its strategy a little bit, perhaps, is Twitter. It sounds like Twitter numbers are down right now.
Well, that's what's weird about Twitter is that Twitter numbers are up, but investors are worried, and that's because over the past 3 months, Twitter gained 4%, gained 4% in terms of active users, 241 million users. It's doing a good job at monetizing them. Their money per 1,000 timeline views is up 76%, so they figured out how to start making money, but their rate of growth is down. And what Twitter is worried about, and what Wall Street is worried about, is that Twitter is not a friendly interface for new users to join. And so if you look at Twitter's challenge over the next year, it's going to be a question of how can Twitter appeal to the hundreds of millions of people who are not already on Twitter.
Yeah, I sort of worry, though, that Twitter's being compared a little too much to Facebook. I mean, they're both social media applications in some sense, but they're totally different. And I think, Facebook shouldn't be the bar that every other website and social media company is held against. I mean, Facebook had a unique thing going on, and I think that their growth and their ability to adopt 1 out of every 7 people in the world as a user is not necessarily something that Twitter should be aiming to do.
Yeah, I agree. And the dynamic of engagement on Twitter is very, very different because I find Twitter to be a much more frequently one-way medium. I mean, Facebook is genuinely for people to interact with each other, but Twitter feels very often more like a broadcast platform where people sit and listen to the celebrities and the thought leaders that they want to hear from.
Yeah. So let's talk about Apple for a minute. The big question that we came up with is Apple after Bitcoin? What is going on with that?
Okay, Apple removed an app called Blockchain, which was the last iOS-based Bitcoin wallet from the App Store. And they couldn't explain why. They just cited unresolved issues, and they refused to tell the developers why. Now, because the Bitcoin community is full of crazed paranoid gold bugs, okay, they immediately said, oh my God, it's some conspiracy, Apple is trying to kill Bitcoin, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the germ of reality in the middle of the hysteria is, will Bitcoin apps create some alternate method of paying for things through iPhones, which would enable the iPhone users to get around Apple's mandatory 30% hit?
Yeah.
In which case, of course, they're taking it out, because if you're on an iPhone, Apple gets their VIG. That's what they get.
Yeah, yeah. Do you own any Bitcoin?
No. I mean, it's such a crazy speculation,
Yeah.
you know? The value of it is like this. I don't invest in things that go like that.
Yeah, yeah, me neither. I couldn't touch that. I want to talk about something kind of fun, and this brings us to our reader question, which is how can you watch the Olympics if you're not watching live TV? I would love to watch the opening ceremony. That's the one that I'm always interested in. But is there a way to do that if we've got just an internet connection?
Well, NBC this year is putting a ton of Olympic content, lots and lots and lots of streams on their Olympics website, which is great. However, you have to be a cable subscriber to view it.
So this is the whole login with your cable account, yada, yada, yada.
Right. So if you have cable, do you have cable TV at home?
I don't.
Okay, yeah, if you have cable TV at home, you're fine. However, if you don't have cable TV, you're locked out. So what you want to do is you want to go look at the streams from other countries, specifically Canada and the UK, where they speak English, and they actually often have a broader perspective on the Olympics. They're not so focused on the US athletes. To do that, you need to use a VPN or an anonymizer that makes it look like you're in Canada or the UK, so that they don't know your computer is in the US and they don't block you out.
I think our analyst Famida Rashid has reviewed some VPN services like that. So you're essentially tricking your computer into saying you're located in another country, even if you're in the United States.
Yeah, our features editor, Chandra Steele, is writing up a story on this right now, where she said just a few minutes ago that she recommends a service called Hola, H-O-L-A, to watch the Olympics through the Canadian or UK feeds from the US to get around that annoying cable company requirement.
You know, I'll probably just watch a lot of the clips on YouTube that are like the best of at the end of it all, because I can't stay up until all hours in the morning like watching that stuff anyway. We do have one new cool thing in the lab that we're going to show you today. It's our new editor's choice for game-playing PCs. This is the Origin Chronos. It clocks in just under $5,000 at $4,899. Sasha, what can you tell us about it?
Well, what makes this special is a lot of crazy specs. It has an Intel Core i7 processor overclocked to 4.7 gigahertz, 16 gigs of DDR3 RAM. This guy has a 2 terabyte hard drive in here, 850 watt power supply, and it just delivers incredible gaming performance for that sub $5,000 price. And you say $5,000, that's a lot of money, but in the world of gaming PCs, that's often what we're talking about. And so this little guy, and it is little.
Yeah,
okay?
it's pretty small. It's got a nice color too. I mean, I'm tired of seeing all those black towers. You know?
It's a visually appealing, relatively small, physically small gaming PC, but it gets you triple-digit frame rates on our gaming tests, like Alien vs. Predator and Heaven, 182 frames per second. So.
If you're in the market for a new gaming PC, this is definitely one you should be looking at. It's going to last you a long time, a little bit less than $5,000.
And the review is up on PCMag.com.
So that's it for today. We'll see you tomorrow on PCMag Live.